So they went through a whole big thing of what they want. And I was like, you can have all of that. And you can have these other benefits as long as you own or carry. And this is how I would do an own or carry. Told me run it through a third party, through long-term escrow, through Alliance Title. Told him how I'd make the payments. Told him how everything would happen. I told him I'd improve the property. And I said, here's the improvements I'm going to do. If all else fails and I don't do what I'm going to do, you're going to get your property back. It's getting worth more money than what it was when you first did it.
Welcome back to the Massive and Passive Income Show. We're really excited to be visiting with you today.
So. Very excited, very excited. We've been doing this for just a little bit now, and man, we're getting some traction and we're having some fun. That's the biggest part, is having fun talking about real estate.
And we're having fun, whether you are or not. I mean, it's really up to you. But
whether we only have one person that's watching the show, and that's my mom, it doesn't matter. We're having fun.
Love you, Mom. That's right. So today's topic we decided was going to be about seller carry notes. Some people refer to it as seller financing, seller carrybacks, those kinds of things. So why don't we dive right into the details? I love this strategy.
Let's do it. The biggest thing that benefits people from doing a seller carry is you don't have to go out there and get financing the traditional way. And sometimes it's scary. You have to have, this perfect credit score. You have to have a certain amount of money down. You have to have, a job for a certain amount of time. There's all this criteria you have to fit into in order to go out and qualify for a loan. I always talk about it's like taking a square peg and trying to put a square hole. And sometimes you may have a rounded edge and you're not going to fit. And institutions, just regular banks out there that we all do banking with, if you don't fit in that hole, they're not giving you a loan. So what's great about an owner carry is now everything's negotiable. And you could put anything in that contract and you can have any kind of payment, interest rate, terms, price, everything is on the table.
Mm-hmm. So it's a really powerful buying strategy, right? But it's also a really powerful selling strategy.
Definitely.
You listed the benefits for the buyers. Now you've been able to remove the obligations of certain institutions that say this is everything that we absolutely 100% have to have or else you don't get the loan. Whereas you can go in and you can put very similar financing terms in place to what you would get at any banking institution. And you can go and talk to the seller and say, but you know what? Here's the benefits to you. Instead of me paying this institution, I can pay you directly. And not only do you get your sales price, but now you get some terms. Or you adjust your sales price according to the terms that allow for you to be able to move on with selling the property like you want to, but now you get interest. You get what's called an installment sale, and that can be beneficial to a seller.
Or maybe they're going to get nailed on taxes that year, and they don't want to get a big lump sum. Maybe they own that property outright, and they sell it to you for $200,000. Now they got $200,000 they got to figure out what to do with. Or maybe they're going to do a 1031 exchange, which could be a whole nother episode we could talk about. But 1031 exchange is where you have to identify another property to take that money when you sell it and dump it into another property. So you may be able to solve a problem, a big time problem for somebody who wants to sell a property but doesn't want to have to get nailed in taxes, doesn't want all that income, doesn't want to have to report it. I mean, there might be all sorts of benefits. Or maybe they want to retire and they want that passive income without being a landlord. I bought a trailer park over in Boise for a couple that just wanted to get out of town. They wanted to get out of Dodge, but they still wanted that monthly income coming in. So we made up a great deal where they carried it for me for 7 years. We didn't carry it that long, but that was the terms. And we gave them a lump sum money up front to get them to move down to Arizona. And then we gave them monthly income every single month. They loved it. In fact, I think they're going to name one of their grandkids after. No, they won't. But they were in trouble. They didn't know what to do. They knew that their trailer park was in shambles. They knew it was worth more than what they could get out of it because they were taking their bookkeeping on napkins and on loose leaf paper, and my wife introduced them to a computer. I mean, it was pretty bad, and we were able to make a win-win for them. And that was an owner carry that most people walked away from. But we came in and said, hey, look, we know your books are a mess. Hey, you know what? We know your park's a mess. And we found out, hey, he's got like 3 or 4 lots that aren't even being used that are approved from the city. We could put more trailers on there. We could make it cash flow better. I mean, that was part of our strategy of bringing the value up on it.
Yeah.
And so it was a really big win-win for both.
So for you as the seller, you have some solutions to be able to improve the value of that property. They've been looking at that property for years, if not decades. And so they've kind of been blinded by the forest from the trees.
Yep.
And so they're just
they're
wanting
tired.
to move on. Yeah, they're tired. They want
They
to
don't
move
want
on.
to do any fixes.
Yeah, they want
wanna
to move to
war.
Arizona. They don't want to be in Boise anymore.
Yep.
They want to be in Arizona. And so,
Yep.
you being able to solve that problem for them is seller carry. Let's say their purchase price was $100,000. That's what they were wanting to sell this property for. And them having done that, they can sell it, but then maybe you're paying them an additional 5 or 6 or 7% interest per year. That's an extra $5,000 to $7,000 that they're earning on that $100,000 asset. Call that $1 million asset. It could be an extra $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year that they're making by being able to do a seller carry note.
Yeah.
And so those types of benefits to both the buyer and the seller allow for a buyer that sees a vision that the seller just can't see or doesn't want to execute and doesn't have the energy for and just doesn't want to move in that direction. Now they can benefit from some of the profits that buyer is going to realize by being able to sell or carry that note. And so I love that strategy because, again, you come in and as the buyer, you're able to take a hold of that property and take it with the vision that you have for it, but also allow for that person to move on in the direction that they are wanting to go.
And here's what's interesting about that property. On the listing, it said, will not own or carry. Won't own or carry. So here's the thing, though. They sat on it for like 6 months. So I called the realtor. I'm like, why can't they sell this? They won't own or carry. Why can't they sell it? Well, because it's kind of a mess and their bookkeeping's kind of a mess. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, will you schedule a meeting for me? Well, yeah, what are you going to talk about? I'm going to talk about own or carry. No, they've already said they won't do own or carry. I said, let me explain to them the way I do an own or carry. And she's like, all right, but they're not going to. And they were kind of at first, and I sat down and was like, look, what do you guys want? What is it you want? So they went through a whole big thing of what they want. And I was like, you can have all of that. And you can have these other benefits as long as you own or carry. And this is how I would do an own or carry. Told me run it through a third party, through long-term escrow, through Alliance Title. Told him how I'd make the payments. Told him how everything would happen. I told him I'd improve the property. And I said, here's the improvements I'm going to do. If all else fails and I don't do what I'm going to do, you're going to get your property back. It's getting worth more money than what it was when you first did it. Mm-hmm. And when it was all said and done, he's like, I think we'll do an own or carry. I'm like, great. and the realtor's like, what just happened? You know what I mean? And I'm like, don't worry. That was one thing I wanted to tell is before I went in there, I told the realtor, I was like, you'll get paid your commission. I won't do this without you getting paid. I'm not going to try and go around you. So then she relaxed a little bit because realtors are worried about getting their commission, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're out there working and that's fine. I'm not blaming them for it. I'm just saying, I just wanted to put her mind at ease. I'm not trying to go around her. I'm going to work with the seller, try and get an owner carry. Whatever we sell it for, they're going to pay you a part of the commission. And then I told her also, we're going to fix this up. I don't know if we're going to hold on to it long term, if we're going to hold on to it short term, but when we go to sell, we'll use you to sell it. She goes, are you serious? I was like, yeah. All right, I'm on board. I'll set up the time for you guys to meet. So sometimes people don't even know what they're saying no to. Sometimes people are scared because they don't understand. And maybe a realtor told them what a subject to or a owner carry was. Or some friend's neighbor's best friend's uncle who says, oh, you can't do that. They're going to screw you over. Well, yeah, but if it's explained well, I think it could be a win-win, and that's what we created.
Yeah, you can protect that seller and the asset that they've built up to, that value. Now you protect that asset for them long term. And so I love that.
Yeah.
You've created an absolute win-win scenario there.
Now I just wish we would have held on to it. I sold it.
Yeah.
There's one of my big regrets.
All properties, right? Mine's on 3rd Street. I wish I still had it.
And it's so funny.
Just the way that it goes. And so there's your seller carry strategy. Open the conversation and know that there are different solutions to being able to create a win-win situation in a seller carry scenario.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Love the strategy. And thanks for being here, everybody, listening. It's been great. And we are the Massive and Passive Income Show. So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Thank you.